I get it. But, and I'm telling him, well, you know, leave. I don't want to be with you. And he's like, no, I ain't going nowhere. No. And I'm talking, he's studying it. No. And I'm like, how can I get him to leave? But listen, but everything in me wanted to make sure he stayed. I didn't want him to leave. I wanted him to reassure me he wouldn't go. And so I get to packing his stuff and I tell him, you know what? Well, I'm going on a date. I'm going to go on a date with someone else. You know what he told me? This is when I knew it was God. Lord have mercy. He said, not baby. He said, my full name, Cheyenne, let me explain something to you. Now, people are going to go crazy over this, but let's get in our mature, high-functioning, emotional intelligence space before I say this, y'all. He said, Cheyenne, if you went out, he said, forget a day. If you went out and had sex with 200-something men, I'm still not leaving. I'm still not going nowhere. And as much as other people and men who aren't mature enough to understand the context of this.
Yeah, it's what he's saying.
It's not what he said. It's what's in the substance of. And when he said that, that was a moment where I said, I use a curse word, but I said, what the am I doing? Like, yo, what am I doing right now?
That's good.
Listen to me. I'm going to say to you, if you take this woman's advice, you will die an early death in relationships. I'm going to save you from dying in a relationship by the end of this video. You know what I'm saying to you? And by the end of the video, reach out to me and get some coaching because we ain't going to let you die. Let me just listen to this again. It sounds very poetic. It sounds je ne sais quoi. But I want you to understand you are not a God. You are a human being. Hear me out again. You are not a God. You are a human being. You cannot save anybody. Okay? And they don't want to be saved. Because when they do get saved, they don't want you anyway. Frankenstein, okay, the story of Frankenstein is that you create a monster, but the monster ends up killing you. Whenever you try to create a monster, the monster turns on the creator and kills you. When you become Bob the Builder projects and you build them up, you've built them up for somebody else. You're not building them up for you. You're building them up for somebody else. What does that mean? It does not mean that people can't grow and get better. What it means is the basic principles of respect need to be there. She might say that she respects him, but when you're being toxic and dysfunctional, rude, abusive emotionally, talking out of turn, acting all mad, right? And you don't get checked and you're just told, listen, baby, I love you. You know, I appreciate you. Hey, I want to let you know there are moments in time as a man, you got to check certain things like, listen, that don't run in this household. Now, you can have your fit, you can have your problems, but in this household, that don't run. Now, I'm willing to be a bit of a lion, but I'm willing to be a bit of a lamb. But today, I'm telling you, listen now, you're going to meet the lamb. You're going to meet the lion. Because if I don't check it now, I'll become a beast. The beast is when you become untamed and when you don't check things early. You know the beast? The beast is when someone's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you explode. Whenever you explode, you're a beast. You're not a lion. A lion is measured, controlled in the way that it approaches things. Why? Because it set standards from early on, what we call boundaries. Now, when you heard her speak, when you heard her talk, when you heard her say what she said, she let us know very clearly where she stood. She said, listen, the man that she was with, okay, all right, when she was trying to abandon the relationship, okay, he then assured her by saying, listen, if you slept with 200 people, I'll be there for you. I won't. I've learned my lesson. I won't. Because what I'm doing, I'm giving you room to be dysfunctional when I need you to elevate. I won't. Let God be that God. You want to be dysfunctional in a relationship with God. He can heal in those areas. I won't. There are rules and regulations and standards and culture that I live by. And if you can't live by the basic norms of respect for me, you never will. See, for men, the biggest thing isn't love, it's respect. If that woman doesn't respect you from the beginning, it's going to be very hard for her to respect you in the end. So when there's certain behaviors that are happening, check it immediately. But listen, don't change that channel. I know I'm turning up the heat a little bit on Dark Arts podcast. I'm turning up the heat a little bit, but don't change the dial. You know what I'm saying to you? Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button. We're going to go deeper into this video. I'm here to help you, save you from this relationship trauma. And listen, do not choose dysfunctional women that are going to consistently break your rules, break your culture, and not live up to standards. And tell you, I'm living below standards, so meet me below the standard. What? You dying of the death. Let's watch it again. Eh?
And I tell him, you know what? Well, I'm going on a date. I'm going to go on a date with someone else. You know what he told me? This is when I knew it was God. Lord have mercy. He said,
not her calling it God when she's been dysfunctional and toxic with another human being. Oh, it's back there. Let it be God when God is dealing with you. You know what I'm saying to you?
Not baby. He said, my full name, Cheyenne, let me explain something to you. Now, people are going to go crazy over this, but let's get in our mature, high-functioning, emotional intelligence space before I say this, y'all. He said, Cheyenne, if you went out, he said, forget a day. If you went out and had sex with 200-something men, I'm still not leaving. I'm still not going nowhere. And as much as other people and men who aren't mature enough to understand the
What he was
context
saying.
of this,
Yeah.
No. Pause it right there. We do understand the context, and I am very mature, and I definitely understand what she's saying. But I also understand the reason why he said it. Now, I'm not Hosea in the Bible. No, I'm not Hosea in the Bible. Hosea was made as an image for what Israel was to God. I am not God. Let God be your God. Me, I'm only a human being. I have limitations to my strength. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah? Yeah? That's why the Bible gives us the exit clause, which is if you cheat, you're out. So the fact that you use that, she was trying to get out of the relationship because of her abandonment issues, which I understand. Listen, I'm all about healing your abandonment wounds and issues, and I'm all about working with people. What I am also about is, whilst you're doing that, I will correct dysfunction. Whilst you're doing that, I will let you know that behavior doesn't rock around here. I will let you know that don't work with me. You can't shout at me, can't cuss me out. I don't like the way you're moving. When I see certain behaviors, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to point it out because I'm going to let you know round here is accountability. See, if I hold you accountable and say, these are the rules, this is the culture, this is the standard that I run by, you can also hold me accountable as a man to say, you said the rules are this, the culture is this, and the standards are this. Therefore, I can't flout that. So any man that you date should also adhere to his own rules, own culture, and own standards. When he flouts that, he has to be held accountable. That's how you determine what a good man really is. Will he hold true to his own rules, culture, and standards? This is why people like Offset are not good men. Sorry if anybody said that. I know you're gonna burst your bubble, but when they decide to cheat, if she end up cheating, would you be okay with it? You probably wouldn't. If you end up sleeping with multiple women and she slept with multiple men, would you be okay with it? You wouldn't. So you're gonna flout your own rules, your own culture, your own standards. I don't know necessarily if he's cool with that or not. I'm just kind of giving an example. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Right? It's not one rule for others and one rule for another. As a leader of your home, that's not how it works, right? The rules are in place so that everybody obeys. And you lead by showing example that this rule, I obey it too. The things that are higher than me.
It's what he's saying.
it's not what he said, it's what's in the substance of. And when he said that, that was a moment where I said, I used a curse word, but I said, what the am I doing? Like, yo, what am I doing right now?
That's good.
Like, what? And when I tell you that was a mirror times a mirror, and I sat down and I just started crying. And I said, I'm not really a crier. And I was boohooing. And he's just looking at me. And he probably looking at me like this, so crazy woman. But he's looking at me and I said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'll never, ever abuse you again. Meaning not, but anyway, like emotionally, I'm so sorry. Like, oh my God. And
so the whole time he's been taking emotional abuse. Do you think this relationship should be in, my guy? Which is why I tell you that you must nail it early. It is not to wait till the weight of all the abuses on you before you now say, what's going on? When you see behavior early, see, when you first meet somebody, right? Of course, we're going to give people grace. But when someone moves mad, yeah, you have to at the very beginning let them know when you care about them and you care about yourself. You let them know from early, listen, I really appreciate you. Listen, I think you're amazing. I think you're bomb. Right? We start with compliments, right? And then we do behavior. See your behavior, yeah? Last week, when you started getting all riled up and piped up, or even yesterday, let's say yesterday, whatever, or a couple hours ago, whatever it was, right? Yeah? See that behavior where you piped up? Let me tell you what happened. For me, personally, I felt disrespected in that moment. Yeah? This is a lion. The lion's coming out now. I felt disrespected in that moment. And when I feel disrespected, I don't want to be around you no more. Right? In future, when you want to talk to me and you feel you have a problem, process it, go away, come back. If you don't, the consequences is I'm going to distance myself, and I can only do that a certain amount of times in a relationship before I exit the relationship. The reason why she wants a hybrid man is because when the high functioning man functions, she is missing. When the high functioning man puts a standard, she flouts the standard because she has not healed, I don't think, certain areas of herself, which is why she wants a hybrid that will drop down to low functioning behavior. Why would a high functioning man, as she said herself, and I'm going to do a video about this, why would a high functioning man who has emotional intelligence, okay, not be able, why would he have to drop to low functioning? Or even why does he have to come out of the high functioning arena and be a hybrid? If he's high functioning, it's because he understands emotional intelligence. He understands your behavior, but doesn't mean he's willing to accept it. See, I may understand something. I don't have to accept it. I want to say it again. I may understand something. I do not have to accept it. And that's really important, because what you understand doesn't mean that you have to accept it. What you understand gives you ability to empathize, but I do not have to accept it. That's how narcissists find empaths, because empaths are like, oh my God, I just understand where they're coming from, but you don't realize you don't have to accept it. And this is where a lot of men are. I don't want you to be in that relationship where you're with that woman where you understand it, you accept it. No, when you see it, you have to call it out. The lion at a point goes, okay, I'm going to give you grace. I can give you grace for that situation. But the lion comes out where he's controlled and he's measured. And the way the way that he dissects his words is also to be delivered in the way that it will be understood. So I'm going to let you know, right? Hey, look, see what happened just a couple of hours ago where you got piped up? That don't work for me. In my vicinity, that don't work for me. Right? When I'm talking to you, do I disrespect you? No. You never hear me raising my voice to you. Do you ever hear me raise my voice? I don't need you raising your voice to me. Right? Consequences of that is I'm gonna end up drifting away from you. I don't like disrespect. So if you keep disrespecting me, it's only a matter of time before I end up leaving. Now, if she ends up being scared, it's understandable, because the reality of the situation is you're calling her up to a higher level. You must call her up to a high level. The moment you let her sit at that level and stay there is when she disrespects you. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. Because you see, men elevate themselves for women that they believe are good women. Men always elevate for women they think are good. He will always rise to the standard that woman will put up. The same with women. When women meet good guys, they raise their standard up to that price, up to that level. And I'll do that in the third video. I'll talk about that in the third video. Never be the man that lowers his level so that the woman can meet the level. No. We don't lower the basket because you're 5'5" and you can't hit the basket. No, the basket stays at the same level. And if you're 5'5", you find a way to put the ball into the basket. Oh, you can't dunk, but you can shoot though. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Steph Curry doesn't go to the basket and dunk. I mean, he's not 5'5", but you know what I'm saying to you, right? You don't have to dunk, but you need to know how to get to that level. So the reality of the situation is, as a man, we don't compromise on our standards. We don't compromise on the rules, and we're not compromising on the culture. Right? How you move is how you move. You want respect? Make sure you walk in your own respect by respecting yourself first and foremost. Having good boundaries. It does not mean shouting at a woman. It does not mean cussing out a woman. It does not mean being disrespectful to a woman. Because if you do those things, what better are you then? How can you ask her to elevate yet you're willing how are you asking her to elevate when you are here de-escalating? That don't make no sense. We live how we lead to live, and when we live in that leadership, she will follow. If you give her poor leadership, she's going to follow that poor leadership, my guy. Okay? So see what happened, right? The dysfunctional aspect of her, right? As she said, I felt the love and, well, listen to what she's going to say.
And he just looked at me. And from that moment, I shifted. And I stopped emasculating him. I stopped. It was just, I couldn't, like I seen myself. And I was so disgusted and turned off by what I was seeing just through his ability to say, listen, and then we talked about this last night. I'm not marrying or in love with the idea of you. I'm in love with you. And so because I'm in love with you, there ain't no conditions.
Now pause. All this is nonsense. Yeah. I don't want to say it, but it's nonsense. When I say nonsense, listen to what I'm going to say very carefully. First of all, she's absolutely right. The love that you have can transform somebody. The Bible says that heap hot coals on your enemy by loving them. Right? Your enemies will turn against you. The likelihood is, though, that they may stay as enemies the whole entire time. But we do it as a principle from God, because what reward is there to showing love to somebody who loves you already? The reward is in you loving somebody who doesn't love you. But that's not a principle for marriage. That's a principle for life. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's an act of warfare. We're in a relationship. When you are unwilling, okay, when you are willing to open an arena for someone to be absolute themselves, they should be absolute themselves. But their absolute self should not be at the point of your cost. They're emasculating you, they're emotionally abusive to you, and now they're having an epiphany and realizing they're actually abusive to you. That they were doing this to you. Now, of course, there are testimonies of women who say, my husband was such an amazing guy for me and I turned it around. You don't need to be part of that statistic. There are always anomalies. When we look at a chart, there is always one X that's right in the corner or two X's. They do not make the general populace. Do not think that you are the exception to the rule.
Because if I'm in love with the idea of you, I can take this idea. We talked about this.
Take it off.
The jacket. The idea is a jacket. the jacket, go to another.
Now, absolutely right. First and foremost, you should be in love with who that person is. Hence why I said it doesn't make sense why you choose somebody who's willing to disrespect you and emasculate you. If they do, it means you don't love you. That's the whole point. So what she really doesn't realize she's talking about is the whole point is if a man loves himself, why would I allow you to emasculate me? Why would I want to be in a relationship where you emotionally abuse me? I don't love me. Baby, I don't love me. And I had to learn that lesson. Listen, I'm still learning that lesson. So I'm telling you on the truth. This is why I said to you, reach out to me for the coaching. We keep it real. Because the reason why you're doing that is because of wounds in your past and in your childhood. And we need to start working through those things and give you actionable actions to start pushing you to a place where you don't accept less than you're actually worth. Where you start to build your self-confidence. Where you build your self-esteem. What do you believe about yourself? You believe you deserve to be emasculated and emotionally abused? My God, come on. Raise the standard and the level because she will meet it. And if she doesn't, she got to go.
The woman and say, baby, I like women who wear pink jackets. Put this idea on you.
Yep.
But because he really wasn't, and this is the power of love is not enough to sustain a relationship or a marriage, but the power of love changes like this. And when he did that, I was going,
listen.
Like, what? And so I shifted. But what happened was when I started to shift, this is what happens when you heal, y'all.
But wait. Listen. After this is why I said I don't do where I'm jumping through hoops of women. I don't do it. Don't do it for a man. Don't do it for a woman. But listen specifically. Listen to what she's about to tell you. This is why I said she's sprinkling the dust on the situation like it's beautiful. Like, hey, my guys, sprinkling. It makes it sound so beautiful. But listen to the end result, because the end result is what we're looking at, right? You're gonna do all of that, but listen again. I'm not saying disrespect any woman. I am not saying don't love women. I'm not saying don't take care of women. I'm not saying don't pay their bills. Listen, find the right type of woman that will respect you, because the respect is all you have. If she doesn't respect you, she never probably will.
As I shifted and became different and became more secure and became this, it changed the dynamic of our relationship. Because as the buffer he was sent to be, he had no more, his role was no longer relevant. And so that's what I was doing. Becoming different and healthy, and he didn't know how to facilitate that healthiness.
You know why he didn't know how to facilitate that healthiness? Because he wasn't healthy himself. So don't let her spice it in a way that makes it sound like this guy was such a good guy. He wasn't. That's how men get hurt. And they're like, we're such good men and these women mistreat us. No, you're not. No, you're not. And that's what you need to get out your head. When you play the savior role, you're not a good man. You're a nice guy. And nice men are manipulative because they think their niceness deserves to be rewarded. But good men know how to hold boundaries. Good men are lions, but they're also lambs. Okay? Good men know how to hold boundaries. Good men know what their wants and their needs are. Good men are able to say, listen, be accountable in this area. Good men are able to say, listen, these are the rules. These are the culture. This is the standard. This is the rules. This is the culture. This is the standard. This is the RCS. And when you understand the RCS, what you start to realize is, listen, a woman will either meet that standard or she'll have to go. But let me leave it there. Listen, again, I want to let you guys know, if you're a man out there specifically, listen, I want you to use a link down below. I want you to reach out to me. Listen, we are here to help you. If you've been struggling in the dating field of women and you're complaining, thinking that women mistreat you, they take advantage of you, they manipulate you, whatever you feel like, if you feel like you want to grow in a relationship and be better as a married husband or as a partner, a boyfriend, listen, then reach out to me. Because this is the work that we do. I'm not about to sugarcoat nothing for you. I'm going to let you know, listen, this area of your life needs to be checked. If it doesn't, it's going to end in failure. All right, guys. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button. Remember, don't change the channel just because I'm dialing up the heat. You know what I'm saying to you? It's DarkArts Podcast. Appreciate you, baby. All right, we've got a part 3 coming.